All right, sir. So I'm going to start off with a big topic, which is housing in Nebraska. So, if elected, how do you plan on getting more affordable housing for people in the state?
Well, I look at it as far as people who own usually don't trash their place as much as renters. So I'd like to have more home ownership, and maybe instead of having people renting apartments in the building, have them own it. So have like a co-op apartment building, and also people who own homes don't pay more and more to greedy landlords. So I mean, they just have to pay more property taxes, which I want to try to reduce, but also makes houses smaller. I mean, my house cost less than $3,000. It was a barn swallow mouse occupied one level junk shed that I converted with salvaged materials into a two level, 624 square foot little house on the prairie. So um, I just think because the people I talk to who rent, I mean, they just keep getting their rental raise and raise and raise. So it's just like if you could develop some type of more like a co-op apartment complex where they'd own it.
Okay, and then you kind of touched
I'll
on
answer.
it. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
You kind of touched on it in that answer, and I want to talk about property taxes and the economy. So, what are your plans, if you have plans, for reducing property taxes, and how will you contribute, or some ideas to feed into the economy?
Well, the property tax system, I want to make a major shift in that and change property taxes from a currently it's a market value system, and I want to change it to a size system. So currently, if you have a house and people around you pay more for houses, most property taxes automatically get raised. So this would end. You'd base it on size, as far as like circumference times height. And the only time your property taxes will increase is if you make your house larger. And the increases in property taxes will then be by the vote of the people. And that'd be the same for land too. So change that'd be the thing. Changing it from a market value system to a size system.
Okay. My next question for you is infrastructure and broadband. These are obviously huge topics here in the state. So, if elected, what would some of your plans be to expand infrastructure and broadband, especially in the rural areas where internet is very hard to find?
Okay. As far as the infrastructure goes, I have a real problem with the roads department, and actually, I'd like to fire some of the stupid, wasteful, and corrupt people in the roads department. I'm sort of battling them on a few issues right now, so I would get rid of some people in the roads department. That's my short answer.
Do
And as far as
oh,
go ahead.
do you care to name or explain a little bit more why you would get rid of them?
It's just like we had a section highway from where I went up, where I drive up to Lincoln. Road was in excellent shape. I mean, even I didn't have any rough spots. Even the seams were smooth, and they took and repaved it. I mean, put a oil and gravel mixture over the top of it, even though the road was in excellent shape. So it's just been things like that, and I know people who have taken the Department of Roads to court because of things they've done. So it's just that's some of the things, a couple of the things, to name a
Okay.
few.
Okay. And then how about broadband?
What what as far as that you want to use broadband for? I guess that would be my question because I would think with the wireless um, internet service and phone services that most people have, I mean, I would think that 85 to 90% of the people, it would meet their needs currently. I mean, people can get satellite internet through like HughesNet. I mean, Elon Musk is setting up a whole new system for internet, but that's not here yet. But I guess what are you talking about as far as the uses for it?
Um, well, one example would be access to like online healthcare. A lot of people are, especially during the pandemic, and I know we're kind of out of that, but doing Zoom calls with your doctor or going online to apply for different things, trying to set up a doctor's appointment online, stuff like that, where it is hard and Wi-Fi is spotty in some places. I mean, I being a reporter, I go all around the state into very rural areas, and I hardly have service. So I guess that would be one example of people needing better access to internet.
Okay, because I mean, I always look at the coverage areas and I see the covers in Nebraska, like Verizon and U.S. Cellular and stuff. Because I get my internet through U.S. Cellular, but I don't have a problem with it. I guess I didn't realize that there was that much of a problem since the coverage area covers those places. So I guess I would, and with 5G, I'd wonder, since there's going to be more towers around, is that going to improve it? Because I would, because I would look at it as far as the wireless system should be able to provide most of the needs of most people. I mean, not if you want to instantly download a movie, but I wouldn't spend millions of dollars just for that. I just think I think 5G will probably improve the system, but I don't know for sure since it's just starting out. Since there'll be more towers everywhere.
Okay, so you don't have necessarily like a specific plan to put up more towers and like here and there or anything like that, I guess is my question.
No, because I mean, with 5G, most of the companies are going to be putting up more towers already. I mean, that's in their business plan to get 5G to more places. They're going to be. I mean, we've got 6 towers just in just a local area that's gone up here. Of course, I don't know what they're going to be doing out in western Nebraska and up in the Panhandle, whether they're going to, improve it up there. But I mean, like I said, since their coverage maps show that, I would think that they're going to try to bring 5G everywhere. So,
Okay,
I guess I'd like to see what they're gonna do first.
got it. Okay, and then moving on to go ahead.
Because I mean, like my brother travels around, lives out of a camper, and so he just uses Verizon, uses his phone as a hotspot and has all of his internet service through that. But like I said, it depends where you are. And like I said, it'll be interesting because I'm going to go up to Candidate Forum up in Rushville and Mullen, and so discuss things like that with people up there. And because, like I said, I usually don't go there, so need to talk to people.
And then ag producers and agriculture is my next question. So, if elected, what are some things that you would do to support ag producers?
Well, as far as like the meat industry, I'd like to get the country origin implemented. And also, I mean, as far as ag goes, you just basically have to just keep seeing what consumers want and adjust your products to match that, make it affordable. So, I mean, right now, and the people in North Platte are trying to set up that new processing plant. So we'll see how that goes. Because of basically the pork companies that control everything are putting ranchers out of business. So I guess see how that North Platte system goes, and because I know most of the small lockers around here, they're always busy because they're providing sort of not just for deer season, but processing beef all year round. So they have to take breaks, for their deer processing. But so around here, we just have a lot of small processors.
Okay.
They're all in there. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. And then my one of my last questions for you, just two more. The next one is public health. And so there's also the burnout with nurses coming out of the pandemic, a 2-year huge long stretch of them having, and it's not just nurses, but doctors and stuff. They're feeling this burnout after COVID. So what are some things, if you were elected, that you would help the healthcare system with, as well as how would you close the gap between rural healthcare and helping people in those rural areas have more accessible healthcare?
Well, if Biden wouldn't stop firing people, firing nurses for not getting a COVID shot, that would help. And to me, what really bothered me was when doctors, hospitals, and medical professions, you know, discarded hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin, because I know people have taken both, you know, didn't get sick, didn't have to go to the hospital. I just think there would have been a lot more people who wouldn't have had to go to the hospital if they would have been taking hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin with like vitamin C, D, and zinc. Because there's doctors that just kept all their patients out of the hospitals. There's people, one doctor in Lincoln, I mean, that's what he did for several families around here, and my sister, and like I said, people I know that took ivermectin. It just would have kept the people out of the hospital. So to me, it just irritated me to no end that, I don't know, the doctors and medical people were just stupid or just greedy. But there could have been a lot less deaths and a lot less people in the hospital, so then there would have been a lot less nurses having to do overtime work. And as far as getting more health care to the rural areas, I mean, that's just something that rural communities are just going to have to do. I mean, I know there's small hospitals here and there, and with telemedicine, I mean, that'll help, because there's just some people who don't want to go to a small community. I don't know why. I love small communities, but I really don't see what else government can do. I guess I would leave it more up to communities to be doing that.
Okay. And just kind of another question. You'd mentioned ivermectin, and healthcare professionals and some other people would argue that health that doctors did recommend something to prevent people from coming into the hospital, and those are the vaccines. What are your thoughts on that?
Um, I don't. I have never got the vaccine. I know people who've gotten the vaccine who've got sick. I mean, it may be fine for people who are elderly people, but really, I really don't think people under 60 really needed it. And um, for people to get fired for not getting the COVID shot just irritated me to no end.
And my last question for you is, why should people vote for you?
Um, I guess it's just that I just don't like the direction Biden is taking, and Nebraska's government is taking too much money. So, like I said, I want to make a shift in the property tax system. I want to cut our government by 40% to make it more balanced, smaller, and efficient, and create secure and transparent voting. And there's more. And the best way for people to see what all my ideas are and what my beliefs are, the best thing to do is go to my website, troywee.xyz. There's 18 pages there. Most people won't want to read that many, but that'd be the best way. And I'm just someone who doesn't like to take money from people. So I want people to keep as much money as they can.